careless as the day you sailed with the Skull Rock podcast. Proceed at your own risk and mark well me words, ladies. Dead men tell no tale.
Whether you're a lifelong Disney fan, theme park junkie, or someone who just likes great storytelling, you found your new favorite show. Welcome to Skull Rock Podcast. I'm Aljon, musician and longtime Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars fan and pop culturist.
And I'm Dave Bossert, artist, filmmaker, and author. Welcome to the Skull Rock Podcast. Aljon, we're back in the saddle here.
Yes.
I'm still trying to get myself resettled after spending 2.5 weeks in France.
I love it.
I know it's crazy. It really is. But
Yes.
but I did manage to watch a bunch of shows. I saw some movies. I mean, I've just been out and about catching up. Been all over the place. I'm going to be doing the show next week from Los Angeles.
I love it. Sunny Los Angeles.
There you go. So I got to go out there for my dose of freeway traffic.
There you go. Hey, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad we're back yet again, Dave, reunited. We have a lot of fun, and I did see some movies and TV shows this week. I can't wait to dive into it, and we do have, of course, our entertainment news we're going to get into. But man, welcome to the show. Before we do that, Dave, I know we still are plugging away at Arnie's upcoming film.
It's again, it's one of these rare screenings. I love to plug these, especially for our friend Arnie Leibovitz, who is doing a big screen showing of the seventh voyage of Sinbad. This was Ray Harryhausen, did all the stop motion in this film, and to have the chance to see this on a big screen is, I think, amazing. If you can do this, it's Saturday, July 25th, the Frida Cinema in Santa Ana. Aljon, you're going to put all the links in for people to get tickets and to watch the trailer and all of that stuff. But
of course,
this is a beautifully restored, print of the seventh voyage of Sinbad in Technicolor. I mean, again, and by the way, along with it, he's going to be showing 2 more George Pal Academy Award winning Puppetoon shorts.
Awesome.
And again, those are beautifully restored. So absolutely, if you have a chance, go see this Saturday, July 25th at the Frida Cinema in Santa Ana. The links are below. And just to let everybody know, we've got a great interview starting today with independent animator and director Bill Plympton.
Nice.
And I had a great conversation with him, and I think people are going to really enjoy this, especially, for a lot of folks who feel like it's been a very difficult environment in the animation industry. Bill Plympton has been an independent animator for decades, and we're going to dive into, what he's done, what he's worked on, how he got to where he is, and what he does to make a living as an independent animator.
I love about Bill's work, I mean, it's so stylistic.
Yes.
I mean, it's almost as if, caricatures come to life. They have so much personality.
Yeah.
So if you don't know his face or name, you'll probably know his work, as we say.
Absolutely, without question. He's done commercials. He's done short films. He's animated, I think, 9 feature films himself.
That's awesome. So good.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to that.
Absolutely. Another thing I can't wait to get to would be
Skull Rock Podcast answers your email.
Well, Dave, on occasion, we do get some really great feedback. And last week, we kind of talked a little bit about how the sausage is made.
Yes.
And we happened to get a little note from our friend Paul from Parts Unknown. Hey, Aljon. I'm writing to say I loved the last episode and heard the reply to the question, and I'd like to say it was just this one episode that popped. So, hey, thank you for letting us know the hows and whys. You both explained it wonderfully. And since it's been a perfect as ever, as AI is ever improving tool, in a sense, I can't wait to see what you and Dave have coming up. And again, love the work. Paul from Parts Unknown, soon to be unknown again. Okay. No, I mean, thank you for listening, Paul. You are a gem. I appreciate it. And all the feedback is very welcome. When things kind of glitch up or when things are going great, or whatever, feel free to send us those criticisms. We're not beyond the criticism. And we'll definitely talk about it in an upcoming episode. And it helps keep us improving. So definitely do that.
Yeah, and by the way, we did get a note on social media from Erica, who's down in Alabama. She said a live stream would be excellent because
Ooh,
we talked
yeah.
about possibly doing some live streaming. So,
Yeah.
I think we're going to look into that. I don't know if we're going to live stream every week. I don't know if I can handle that. It'd be too much pressure.
Well, yeah, I would like to, maybe we can ask you, Dave, about some of your projects and things like that, or ask me anything. That would be a lot of fun. Ask us
Yeah,
anything,
we could do something.
and we can do it. We can do it on a, maybe a weeknight or something. Where we could have our schedules kind of mesh up. So that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah. Well, leave us those messages. In fact, once again, I encourage everyone to send us a link to drop us a voicemail. We have a link where you can send us a discussion from your smartphone, and we haven't had one of those in a long time. So please feel free to do that, and we'll play your sound clip here in an upcoming episode of Skull Rock Podcast.
Pam, do you know, she wrote this great review of my poetry book.
That's my pick.
I read a great review.
Your girlfriend got a great review.
Oh, that's my pick, too. Sorry.
Excuse me while I start the projector.
Skull Rock Podcast, Picks of the Week.
My favorite sound.
There you go.
The projector going,
You
with
got
real
it.
film going through it.
Exactly, Dave. Well, go ahead, Dave. What have you been watching this week?
Well, I did go on Memorial Day to see a film called Pressure.
Ooh.
This is a film that stars Brandon Fraser and Andrew Scott. And it is, talking about a great performance. I do want to say, well, first off, let me step back. The synopsis of this film is the fate of the free world hangs in the balance as General Dwight D. Eisenhower and Captain James Stagg face an impossible choice: launch the D-Day invasion or risk losing World War II altogether. So, Aljon, this movie is about the 72 hours before the D-Day invasion, and it all hinges on the weather. So, you start to laugh a little bit because, there's stories that, there's always 1,000 stories that have not been told about various things like World War II or the Disney universe or whatever. But talk about an obscure story. This has to do with weather reporting leading up to the D-Day invasion, right?
Unbelievable.
And that's the pressure on Dwight D. Eisenhower. Now, Brandon Fraser plays Dwight D. Eisenhower, and I thought that this was an odd choice of casting. He doesn't really look like Dwight D. Eisenhower, and they didn't even try to make him look, other than to give him a little bit of, the baldness on the top. It just didn't, I didn't quite believe him as being Dwight D. Eisenhower.
I get it. Yeah.
It just was an odd choice, although his performance is great. He's a great actor. But the standout in this movie is Andrew Scott, who plays Captain James Stagg, who is the meteorologist, a Scottish meteorologist who Churchill wants to be in charge of the weather reporting leading up to D-Day. And there's a conflict with the American meteorologist, who's played by Chris Messina. Again, really terrific cast of characters in this movie. But at the end of the day, Aljon, you could watch this on a streamer. You don't
Yes.
have to see this in a movie theater. Okay.
Mm,
I got to
interesting.
see a sneak peek of it because I think it's opening next week. So I got to see a sneak peek of it on Memorial Day. Again, I loved the movie. I thought it was very well done, but I also walked out of the theater thinking to myself, I could have watched this on, on my 85-inch flat panel,
Got it.
So
Yes.
Rotten Tomatoes gives it 86%. IMDb gives it 7.7 out of 10. I highly recommend this film, but again, watch it when it comes on to one of the streaming services. On the small screen, I watched several episodes of Dutton Ranch, which
Yes.
stars Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser as the leads. They're married. It's a spinoff of Yellowstone. Ed Harris is in this along with Annette Bening.
Nice.
And shout out to Ed Harris because he's a Cal Arts grad.
Yeah.
The first episode was a bit tough to get through. I have to say it started picking up in the second episode. So I am going to continue to watch it. Rotten Tomatoes gives it 89%. IMDb is 8.4 out of 10. If you're a fan of the Yellowstone series, check out Dutton Ranch on Paramount Plus. Also on Paramount Plus, Aljon, I've been watching Marshals, which is another Yellowstone spinoff starring Luke Grimes.
Yes.
As part of a Marshals team. With the Yellowstone Ranch behind him, Dutton joins an elite unit of U.S. Marshals, combining his skills as a cowboy and Navy SEAL to bring range justice to Montana. Case and his teammates must balance high psychological cost of serving as the last line of defense in the region's war on violence with their duty to their families. So I watched season 1 and I've enjoyed it. Again, if you're a fan of Yellowstone, I love the cinematography. Rotten Tomatoes only gives it 45%. IMDb 6.1 out of 10. I think it deserves more than 45%. So I liked it. But if you're a fan, check it out on Paramount Plus. Over on Apple TV, I finished watching season 3, I guess it is, of Shrinking.
Yes.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Harrison Ford, Jason Segel, Christina Miller, Jessica Williams, Brett Goldstein. This is just a really terrific cast. Great ensemble. Jimmy is struggling to grieve the loss of his wife while being a dad, friend, and therapist. He decides to try a new approach with everyone in his path. Unfiltered, brutal honesty. While it makes things better or unleash uproarious chaos, you be the judge. It's 8.2 on IMDb, 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. I really enjoy this series. It's fantastic. I look forward to seeing more of it. It's on Apple Plus. Also on Apple Plus. Now, it's a series I started watching. I've watched a couple of episodes. It's called Widow's Bay. And this is billed as comedy horror. Okay, Aljon.
Yes.
So it stars Matthew Reese as Tom Loftus, who's the mayor of a town on an island. A New England mayor trying to boost tourism on his island must navigate strange events suggesting it might be cursed. So Stephen Root is in this, Kevin Carroll, Cato Flynn, Dale Dickey. It's really got a great ensemble cast. I have to tell you, there's like some horror stuff in here, right? I mean, like, it like spine, like I get that shot of goosebumps through my body a couple of times. So I'm only watching this earlier in the evening
for heaven's
while the
sake.
sun is still out.
You don't want to go to sleep with those nightmares.
But Rotten Tomatoes gives us 97%, IMDb 8.3 out of 10. If you like a little horror and comedy mixed together, this is a good choice. Widow's Bay on Apple Plus. And then finally on Prime, Aljon, have you checked out Spider-Noir
Oh
with
yes.
Nicolas Cage?
Yes.
Ben Riley, who's Nicolas Cage, a seasoned, down on his luck private investigator in the 1930s New York, is forced to grapple with his past life following a deeply personal tragedy as the city's one and only superhero. I have to say, I really have enjoyed this series. I watched the first episode in color, but I watched the second episode in black and white. I wanted to see how both were. I really liked the black and white version. I
Yeah.
don't know how you watched it, but this is, again, I've only watched 2 episodes, but Rotten Tomatoes gives it 92%, IMDb 8.2 out of 10. I really have enjoyed it. I like Nicolas Cage. I like the noir genre. So check out Spider Noir on Prime Video,
I'm
Amazon
glad.
Prime.
I'm glad you like it. I liked it too, Dave, for
Good.
the same reasons. Is there another actor that has been as relevant as Nicolas Cage over the decades? I mean, he really, just when you think he's kind of taken a break and taken a step back, he just keeps on coming back with great, compelling stuff. And
Look, I really like his choices.
yeah, I
You know,
mean,
I
they
really
suit him.
like, yeah, I really like the choice of projects he picks, and this is an interesting one.
Highly entertaining, highly
Yeah,
entertaining, and I really appreciate the entire world that's been created. It's in the midst of the Great Depression, right? I mean, or they're getting ready to go into the Depression era. This is New York City, the
yeah,
classic New York City skyline of that era. The vehicles, the costume design, the lighting, the way it's all done, and I did see it in color. Chris and I decided to see it in color, but it's rich, it's vibrant. It looks like it just jumped out of the pages of the Spider-Man Noir comic book series, which I really appreciate. So everything is done, I think, with a lot of care and love. And I will say that the fact that Lord Miller put this together as kind of a live action series, kind of an expansion of the Into the Spider-Verse kind of animated franchise, and they really wanted to do it animated, but they had the opportunity to do something something in live action. I'm glad they did.
yeah,
Spider-Man hasn't had a live action TV show since the 70s,
right.
and it's really, really well done. And so I'm glad that it scores as high as it is on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, because I happen to agree. And I too saw the first couple episodes, and it was an easy watch to me. I thought that the pacing was really well done
Yeah,
per episode, and I think that's a tribute to the people involved. So great
and
stuff.
Brandon Gleeson,
Yes.
as the villain.
Oh, very good.
He's
Yes.
terrific. Terrific Irish actor.
Absolutely. I think the cast is really well done. You know who I really like is Nicolas Cage's character of Ben Riley.
Yes.
We know his secretary, Janet Ruiz, played by Karen Rodriguez, is a standout for me. She
Yeah,
is
she's terrific.
hilarious.
Yeah, she
She
really
is
is.
so good. Every scene that they're in together, they have a chemistry, and I really appreciate that. So go out of your way to check out Spider Noir, and I hope this is just a glimpse of more to come. Nicolas Cage does not do TV series, and I know that they courted him to do this, and they gave him a compelling script with a movie schedule. So I'm glad that they did something like this, because he is well suited for it.
Absolutely.
So I will watch more of it. Other stuff that I also saw, Dave, is this documentary. Are you familiar with The Crash? There was a situation that happened. Um, let's see. I will read the boilerplate, but you can see it here. It's on Netflix. But this documentary follows Mackenzie Shrilla Case, the 17-year-old who intentionally crashed her car into a brick wall in Ohio, killing her boyfriend, Dominic Russo, and his friend, Davion Flanagan. She was convicted of 12 felonies. This is super sad. And when I saw it, I was thinking to myself initially when I saw the news that, and you can see the footage here,
Yeah.
she was going 100 miles per hour on this kind of rural road in Ohio. And she just graduated. These kids just graduated high school, getting ready to start their lives, and it just went tragically wrong.
Yeah.
And as this drama unfolded, I was thinking to myself, and I remember hearing about this, like, a little bit after the pandemic. This happened, I think, in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. That it just sounded like almost like a suicide pact or something like that, but it definitely wasn't.
No, and
And
she's cold. I haven't watched this. Nancy watched this documentary. I
Yeah.
just am not into watching those kinds of things, but I
Yeah.
did see some interviews with her on in jail, some
Mhm.
clips of her talking, and I
Yes.
just thought there's something way off with this person, and there's almost something evil about her.
Exactly, sociopathic, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she was super cold about it. And it's really interesting to see once again. She was ultimately convicted of this crime of where her two friends were killed, her fiance, etc. And the parents, it's really, now that I'm a parent, Dave, I look at things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like the parents didn't have any culpability for how she behaved or how she acted, because she was suspended from school and she continuously, bullied these kids. And so I was like, man, she's a mean girl.
Yeah. Yeah. She
Or at
really
least
is.
it was depicted that way,
Yeah.
right? All we know is what we can see.
Yeah.
And the evidence points out to support that narrative, so whatever that is. But either way, it's a very sad situation. So I highly recommend it. It is an interesting look into what is a tragedy. Check out The Crash on Netflix.
And she's serving what?
15 years.
She only got 15 years.
15 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's very sad. These people, and it's another situation where you had parents that adopted two children, and one of those children had passed because of this tragedy. And I just felt for them because, obviously, I adopted my kids as well. And it's very sad. You have so full of life and just cut short,
Yeah,
tremendously short. It's so
just
sad.
it's awful.
Well, on different terms, Dave, I did finally see a film because my kids are such big fans of Sonic the Hedgehog. Did see Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And can I tell you, I'm a big fan of this franchise.
Yes.
It's super fun.
Yeah.
Sonic's Knuckles and Tails reunite against a powerful adversary, Shadow, the mysterious villain with powers unlike anything they've ever faced before. With their abilities outstretched, Team Sonic must seek out an unlikely alliance. And this here is just a wonderful film. It's a family film, of course, as you can see here, Sonic the Hedgehog in live action, if you will, and computer animation. But it's got a great cast. Kudos to Jim Carrey once again. This is the first time he's done a threequel. Right?
Yeah, and you know something? I watched. I saw the first two in the theater. Is the third one out already in the
third
theaters?
one came out, I think, Christmas of last year.
Oh, okay. So did you watch it on a streamer?
I watched it on Amazon.
Okay.
And it is great. So this came out a while ago and it scored really well. I mean, for an animated film like this, it came out in 2024. I'm sorry, 2024. And it's a 6.9 on IMDb. But it does score well with the audience in terms of, the kids and everything. So
yeah.
I would say great family movie, but Jim Carrey is of course great. Who else is in it? Keanu Reeves as Shadow, the nemesis. I love the voice, right? Idris Elba as Knuckles. Love it. Unmistakable. I love that so much. And then, of course, James Marsden returns in the show. Kristen Ritter is a Director Rockwell of this highly military complex, which is great.
Yep.
Shamar Moore's in there as well. There is a lot of people there. A wonderful cast.
They're fun movies. They're just fun.
It is so much fun. Of course, Ben Schwartz plays the Sonic character, which is great. I mean, the voice work is wonderful, and it's just so fun. So you want a family fun movie with just outstanding visuals, in my opinion. I think Sega's done a great job. Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
You know what I was going to say, Aljon? This franchise started out with some problems.
Yeah, of course.
Because the first one, apparently they had done a redesign initially of the Sonic character, and the fans hated it. There was so
I
much
didn't like it.
blowback from some initial some previews that they put out that
Yes.
they went back in and completely, did a redesign to get the character back to what you're seeing now.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
And so much so that they even lampooned it on the Chip and Dale movie and Disney Plus, where they were. You remember they were at the comic book
Yes.
convention, and then they had a table with ugly Sonic sitting there. It was but it's true. There is an expectation in one's mind, especially when you play video games like Super Mario, or you play Sonic the Hedgehog, which is a huge franchise for Sega and continues to be relevant to this day. Tons of kids still play Sonic. My kids love Sonic.
Yeah.
And they love the cartoon. You have an expectation of seeing the characters the way they were drawn.
Yes.
Initially. And so you deliver on that promise, and they did. And I'm glad they did, because the characters look great. And Jim Carrey's, character is also from that video game of Dr. Robotnik, and he comes out looking like the cartoon character.
Yeah.
As they should. So
Well, he is a cartoon character.
He is, and he does it right. And they do it all right. It's a lot of fun. So high marks for me on Sonic the Hedgehog 3. If you haven't seen it, take the family to see it, or just enjoy it for yourself for that nostalgic shot that everyone seems to be getting. The other thing I saw was the American Music Awards, Dave. The American Music Awards. Now, I'm like you, Dave. I'm kind of worn out about the American Music Awards.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan, but they sucked me in this year. Why? Because they had a big old blast of nostalgia. They had the Black Eyed Peas, very popular in the early 2000s with Fergie Ferg and the rest of the Black Eyed Peas. They had a performance from Billy Idol, because he accepted his Lifetime Achievement Award or what have you. Darius Rucker with Hootie and
What
the
did Billy
Blowfish.
Idol sing?
He did a medley of songs. He did like Eyes Without a Face, and I think Rebel Yell and all that. So it was great. I mean, for 70 years old or so, Billy Idol just kicked everyone's ass with Steve
great.
Stevens, his longtime collaborator. And, that's one of the artists I love to see live, because that is where I live. I live in the East.
Yeah.
And of course, Hootie and the Blowfish sounded great as well. I mean, their guitarist looked just so happy to be there, honored with the Veterans Voice Award. Right. And the Black Eyed Peas, as I mentioned, I was a real big fan of their music in that era. It was just party music. And they reunited with Stacey Ferguson, Fergie, and they accepted a throwback award. Now, that to me is pandering. Now, this is how I see it. A publicist has an idea. They want to bring in the Gen Xers that have basically abandoned watching their show because no one's watching award shows anymore, really, right? Because they're so just self-congratulating. It's just really excessive. And then they have these bands and these performers come in, and they drag people like me to go see that show. And I can see it now. They get together as a PR event. They do Coachella, right? And they get all hot, and then they're all of a sudden playing at the Sphere. I mean, this is the trajectory of these type of things. It's just written by PR. I can see it a mile away. And just you wait, Dave. I guarantee you they're going to be performing at the Sphere over at Coachella. I can see it now.
Okay.
They're doubling down on that nostalgia for people like me. I will say the show was well done, but once again, it's just kind of, I don't know, man. It's kind of pandering. Where and Queen Latifah did great too as a host. So go out of your way to check out those performances live from the MGM Grand. I believe there was even a performance from New Kids on the Block as well. So check it out. But yeah, I mean, there was a bunch of other people that were there too. I mean, if you like Bruno Mars or Cardi B or Sabrina Carpenter or the team from K-pop Demon Hunters, I mean, you're going to love it. So enjoy that. But Dave, they're just pandering.
Yes, I look. I really struggle to watch even the Academy Awards now, and I'm an Academy member.
Yeah, I know, right?
And I vote on them, But it's just some of these award shows are just I wish they would just go back to containing it into an hour,
Yeah. Yeah.
and just give the awards out, let people make their speeches, they've just, I think, screwed over all of these awards shows from the standpoint that they've made them uninteresting,
Yeah.
and half the time they're out of touch with
Yeah.
what the public is consuming.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, they realize this, that older audiences tune in, and that older audience also watch live entertainment. They buy the tickets.
Yeah.
They go to the Sphere.
Yeah.
I think there was a recent study saying that Gen Xers and above, Dave, are, the generation, you, me, the
Yeah.
older generation, we're the ones that like to experience things. We go to the movie theater. We actually do that. We don't stream everything, but we go to
Right.
the theater. We go to concerts. We go to events. We attend live sports. I mean, we're what's going to happen when we're all gone, Dave?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, holy cow.
It's crazy.
Well, anyway, what have you been watching? Please let us know, and we'll break it down in a future episode.
Skull Rock Podcast. This week in Disney and pop culture.
All right, Dave. $80 million. $80 million, Dave. That is Kane Parsons' new king of the box office, Back Rooms. Hits $10 million with the adaptation of this viral YouTube short film series, eyeing the biggest opening in A24 history. One of my favorite independent
80 million
film studios.
Backrooms did?
Yes.
It was
80
kind
million.
of I mean, I thought it was a sort of a quiet weekend in my mind,
Yes.
because there was no big tentpole movie coming out.
Yeah. Yeah. It says right here, and this is the latest information. I put some old information up there, Dave, from 6:00 this morning. This is the latest. 80 million for Backrooms. Crazy. And then the way Star Wars, The Mandalorian, and Grogu is looking to bring in around 24 million in its second weekend, a drop of about 70%.
Ooh, that's a big drop.
Yeah, for a third place finish. So it goes like this: Backrooms, eyeing 80 million. And it's a horror debut. So pretty good stuff there. Obsession is number 2, $8.1 million domestically. But yeah, I mean, that movie looks good as well. Very strong for that type of film. And then Star Wars, The Mandalorian, and Grogu, pretty sharp drop off.
It really is.
After
That's a
Memorial
big
Day
drop off.
weekend.
I'm just kind of surprised because I liked the film. I thought
do
the film was a
too.
great summer movie. It was fabulous. I hope they do more.
I hope so too. I really feel like, this is my criticism of The Mandalorian and Grogu. You wanted to cash in, Disney. You wanted to cash in, and you wanted to monetize some of your IP because you're losing money streaming. In doing that, you harm Star Wars. You harm Star Wars. Jon Favreau had been doing these press junkets like, I don't know why they asked me to do that. I mean, I really didn't want to do it. I was ready to do the next season of Mandalorian, and then this happened. This is a result of poor planning. This is a result of poor leadership from Kathleen Kennedy. Sorry, not sorry. You're slowly eroding the Star Wars brand by not having a clear plan. You want to dismonetize it, fine, I understand, but wait until you do something that is supposed to be planned, like Dave Filoni's grand plan of bringing characters together.
Yeah.
You throw this movie together, it doesn't have high enough stakes for people to go, oh my gosh, this is going to affect the whole universe after all the story world building that you made. And this is the result. Now, did I like it? Yes, I enjoyed the film for what it was. But in the meantime, you have everyone else, that is very critical and harsh, and it doesn't help you.
Yeah.
It doesn't help you.
All right. You're very passionate about the Star Wars franchise.
I
have
am,
to
because I
say,
love it so much, Dave.
I'm just
I love it
taking
so much.
I'm just taking it on face value. I thought it was a fun, like popcorn movie, as they say. It was a fun summer movie.
But Dave, I love that. I love that it's a fun summer movie, and I appreciate it for what it is, but I'm different.
Yeah.
Right. And Dave, if I hand you the keys to the kingdom to take one of the largest franchises in all time that you spent, $40 billion or whatever the cost was to Disney, and you just
They bought
flush some of it down the toilet?
5 billion. 5 billion.
Okay, 5 billion, whatever it is, Dave. I'm blowing it up, right? Okay, I'm exaggerating, but whatever the case is, Dave, you know what I'm saying here. You are going to handle it with the care and attention to detail because that's how you roll.
Yeah.
You are an attention and care to detail. You are an archivist. You take care of franchises. You take love and care in your restorations. What in the world, Disney? What in the world? So anyway, Michael is in there too. I actually have bookmarked this to see, but I will probably see it streaming. And then, of course, rounded out the breadwinner pressure. The Devil Wears Prada 2 rounds out the top 10, Dave. So, in some streaming content, I will tell you this, Bluey is still, of course, the top of the charts. And, Bluey is taken over Animal Kingdom, Dave. The whole conservation station has got a Bluey makeover.
Wow.
And it looks like they actually put a layer of Bluey over the mural, the wonderful mural that is at the station there. And the affection station, the petting zoo that I love so much to take the kids, they actually made it a place for kangaroos, but it's been enclosed, so you can't really pet them. I'm kind of sad about that after all these years. But Bluey, they're blowing up. So you can go down to the conservation station and check out the latest meet and greet out there. Other Disney news, Dave, the Rock and Roller Coaster with the Muppets opened. And I love it. Did I mention this last week? Did I mention the fact that it opened and people are loving it? So go out there. I saw the pre-show. I'm going to see it here in a couple weeks, Dave. And I can't wait. And they kept my Les Paul in there. The Epiphone and Gibson guitars are still in the attraction as an homage to the Aerosmith stuff. And, they have little Easter eggs in there. It's so good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And they also have the new Soarin' around America for America's 250th. And I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. Looks like the theme parks are doing well with all these new attractions. I can't wait to see it, Dave. So having said that, I will say this also in streaming. If you've missed it, you can check out The Boys. It's doing well over there as well. And they brought back Criminal Minds. I forgot to mention this. I'll talk about it next week, but Criminal Minds, my favorite procedural, is back on Paramount Plus, and I resubscribed, Dave. So I'll let you know how that works out.
All right.
All right, Dave. Now it is time where we pay homage, if you will.
Skull Rock Podcast.
You're like that little arrow on your hat, straight and shining, and that's the way I'll always remember you.
I'll always remember you. I'll always remember you.
I'll always remember you, Sharon.
They hang you, I'll always remember you.
In memoriam.
All right, Dave. So this week we do have a little bit of a list, and this is a passing that I neglected to mention. And Tom Kane, Clone Wars and Powerpuff Girls voice actor, dies at the age of 64. Look at that guy right there. So tragic. He also played Magneto and Ultron and worked on Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Kim Possible, The Wild Thornberrys, and Star Wars. Star Wars, for Pete's sake, Dave, take a look at this.
He was so young.
Absolutely. And the prolific voice actor, he played Yoda, and the voiceover intro for Star Wars The Clone Wars, passed away at the age of 64. He had complications from a stroke in a hospital in Kansas City, Missouri. So sad. From his unforgettable performance in Star Wars to countless animated series, documentaries, and genres, Tom brought wisdom, strength, humor, and heart to every role he touched. He said in his statement, his voice became part of our lives and memories of the stories we carry with us. He suffered a stroke in 2020 that left him unable to speak or write. And he retired in 2021, but managed to attend the Lexington Comic Con and Toy Convention in Kentucky in March, reuniting with the Powerpuff Girls cast in his first public appearance in years.
Man,
it's
just so sad.
It is so sad. And Tom is just a wonderful human being. And I am going to show you a picture of Tom and us, and I want you to take a look at that.
Wow.
So Kristen
he was
and
tall,
I met,
huh?
He was huge.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 5'9", and he was like 6'3".
Wow.
Tom is huge, but he was an extraordinary man, Tom Kane. What a wonderful guy. Just really down to earth, as I said in my caption. And I met him several times during Star Wars weekends, and this was during Star Wars Celebration when he was doing the voice of Star Wars, The Clone Wars. And yeah, just an amazing, amazing guy. Just super, super nice guy. So good. All right. So that is Tom. And may he rest in peace. Kelly Curtis, actress and sister of Jamie Lee Curtis, also passing away young, 69, Dave.
Crazy.
Daughter of Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh, starred in foreign films like Magic Sticks and The Devil's Daughter, and was a documentarian. I don't know a lot about Kelly Curtis other than what is mentioned here. She died in her home at Nature and at Peace. She was my first friend and lifelong confidant. She was jaw-droppingly beautiful and talented actress. She played a mean game of hearts, collected turtles, and loved family, nature, music, thrifting, travel, and Pokemon Go.
So sad.
Very sad indeed. Very sad. And I didn't know that Jamie Lee had a sister, so that's
well, there you
new
go.
information to me. Caitlin O'Hearney, actress in He Knows You're Alone and Tales of the Gold Monkey, dies at 73.
This is this is an actress whose face is very familiar. She was in a lot of television shows and in a selection of movies. If you look at her face, you go, oh gosh, I've seen her in a million things.
Yes. So she was a Milwaukee native who worked with Katharine Hepburn on Broadway, starred in a Norman Lear sitcom, and played Snow White in The Charmings. There you go. So she was, wow. I mean, 73. I mean,
That's super young.
That's still young to me.
It really is.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. She died May 18th. How about that?
Wow.
No cause of death revealed.
No. I hate
Sonny
that.
Rollins.
I hate
know,
that.
I
mean,
too.
come on, tell us what they died of.
I know.
We want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
This is true. Sonny Rollins, tenor sax legend and colossus of jazz, dies at 95. Tutored by Thelonious Monk, the Harlem native came of age with bebop and is credited with a succession of improvisational masterpieces that made him one of history's most influential musicians. I do know the name Sonny Rollins of jazz, and once again, 95. What a great contribution.
Now, that's what I'm talking about, 95. That's living a good, long life. And he was an amazing musician.
Yes.
I've heard a selection of his songs, and it's just, he's absolutely amazing.
There you go. He died in his home at Woodstock, New York, with his family, now making the announcement. Recognized as one of the most important and influential musicians of all time, Rollins recorded 60-plus albums during his 7-decade career. That is impressive. Just impressive. Pierre Denny, Emily in Paris star, dies at the age of 69 after ALS battle. Oh, my goodness.
This is crazy. Apparently, it came on very quickly.
Yes, the French actor passed away on May 25th after being diagnosed with anthropic lateral sclerosis. And once again, that's so sad indeed. He played the JVMA CEO of fashion boss Louis de Leon in Lily Collins' starring drama and died on May 25th after a battle with ALS. It is with deep emotion that we announce the passing of Pierre Denny, which occurred this Monday after a sudden and severe case of ALS.
Terrible.
So sad. And may they rest in peace.
Absolutely.
Well, gang, now we are here to lighten up your day. From that, we have here now an amazing artist, Bill Plympton, animator, director, all-around great guy, very highly influential. We're happy to have him right here on Skull Rock Podcast.
Let's do it.
Hey, let's chat.
Let's chat afterwards. Let's chat. And he said, let's chat again.
Skull Rock Podcast. Interview time.
Well, Aljon, we have a fantastic, distinguished guest today from the world of animation. We've got multi-award-winning animator, producer, director, cartoonist Bill Plympton. Bill, welcome to the Skull Rock podcast.
Thank you. Nice introduction.
Bill, I'm going to ask you the question I always ask our guests that come on to the show.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get involved in animation and cartooning? What's your earliest memories?
Well, it's a long story. Cut me off if I go into too much detail. But I remember falling in love with animation, watching Walt Disney on TV, the Walt Disney Show, and oftentimes he would go back and introduce some of the animators. And I said, that's the job I want. I want to be the guy who does the animation. You know, I didn't care if it was a bird or a chipmunk. I just wanted to work on it. My dad, who was a banker, was a very funny guy. He could tell really good jokes. And at parties, he was always very popular. Everybody wanted to talk to my dad. And I wish secretly that I could make people laugh like that. I was terrible at telling jokes, but I knew how to draw cartoons. And so that was my way to replicate my dad's popularity. And so all my life I've been drawing cartoons. I remember watching the Tex Avery cartoons, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, and those I really fell in love with. And so I knew immediately that I wanted to be humor. I wanted to talk about, jokes and crazy, surreal things and lots of violence and stuff. That was my ambition. Unfortunately, when I was in college, going to college, animation was really dying. It was a low point. Walt Disney died in '66, and the studio was bankrupt, as you know. And they was the only thing around was Hanna-Barbera. And I did think that was animation. That was terrible. Plus, there were no animation schools back then. This was like the 1960, 65, 66, like around then. So I decided if I couldn't be an animator, I would move to New York and be an illustrator, cartoonist, because I love to draw cartoons. So I was fairly successful. I was in all the big publications, and I did gag cartoons. I did illustrations. I did comic strips. I did caricatures. Anything that I could draw and make it funny.
Can I just interject
Sure.
here and ask you a question? That
Mhm.
period, like School of Visual Arts, that's I mean, it's a great art school in the middle of
Yeah.
Manhattan. But the late '60s, that's kind of a hotbed of like underground cartooning, like Harvey Kurtzman and
That's
Mad
true.
Magazine and
Yeah.
Don Martin and people like that.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what it was like at School of Visual Arts? And by the way, was Ralph Bakshi there?
He wasn't at School of Visual Arts, but he was in New York when I was there. And this is one of my regrets. I didn't know this, but he was doing Fitz the Cat when I first arrived in New York. I was a real, very shy guy. But if I'd known that he was doing that, I would have knocked on his door and say, I'll sweep your floors, I'll, wash your windows, I'll do anything to learn how to do animation. We became friends later on. He's a good guy. He's a really funny guy. But back then I just didn't have the knowledge or the experience of drawing animation. I just wanted to somehow get involved with animation. Harvey Kurtzman, he taught a few of my classes, just as a lecture thing at School of Visual Arts. I wasn't into Mad Magazine that much. It really, for some reason, it wasn't my gig. I wanted to see the drawings move and talk and sing and do crazy stuff. That's what I was really interested in. But I'll be honest with you, I like SVA now, but back then this teacher I had was so bad. He was my animation teacher, and I thought, well, finally I get to learn animation. This was in, I think it was 1970, something like that.
Yeah.
So this guy comes in late, and I'm there with these other people, and he says, "Oh, it's such a beautiful day. Why don't you make a cartoon about green?" And then he walks out the door. And that was it. And I went, what? I spent all this money. I moved all the way across America for this stupid class. I was originally looking forward to get into Milton Glazer's class. I'd heard so much about that, and he was one of my heroes. Uh, but uh, when I applied for SVA, they put me on a day schedule, and his class was at night, and I didn't know you had to apply for it separately. So that was another stupid thing that I did.
Which is something all of us have done throughout our careers.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but it just was one mistake after the other. And yeah, I really loved Milton Glaser and the Pushpin Studio. That was a big influence. Yellow Submarine, all that sort of kind of adult animation. It wasn't for kids; it was for adults. So I really love that. But I did all these illustrations and caricatures and gag cartoons. And what the good thing about it was that these early years, from when I was 20 to 20 to 35, uh, I really developed a style, a cartoon style that I could draw very quickly, and also it was good for humor. It was syndicated in a bunch of papers all over the country, and I developed a style of humor that was not verbal but visual. I wanted to make cartoons that were visually funny, so you didn't need dialogue. And those are two things that were really important for my success as an animator, was learning how to draw with a style that was very unique, very different, but easy for me and quick to do. And then also developed a sense of humor, humorous storytelling. And that's also, I think, was key to my success as an animator.
Did you feel like uh there was something happening in New York City at that period? There was a lot going on with underground comics, R. Crumb and
Yeah.
as I mentioned, Harvey Kurtzman, and
Yeah.
was there sort of a welcoming community of like-minded cartoonists that you sort of got to know?
Yeah, I wish I could say yes. I mean, I met those guys once or twice, basically. Who's the guy that did the the cats cartoon? Ah, in the World War II format. Oh my God. He designed a lot of the cartoon books and stuff like that in New York, but I didn't really hang out with him that much. Maybe I was too shy. I didn't really know anybody who was an animator.
It wasn't Spain Rodriguez, was it?
No. Ah, he did the book that won the Pulitzer Prize. Oh, geez. You guys know that one?
What book?
No.
Did he do Mouse?
Mouse, that's it.
Art Spiegelman?
Yeah, Artie Spiegelman.
Yeah, Art Spiegelman.
I met him once or twice, and Crumb I met once, and you know, I thought they were really great guys, but I never was able to hang out with them or anything.
Right.
Like that.
Were you a fan of underground comics during that period? Because that to me was sort of the zenith of underground comics, don't you think?
Well, it sure was. No, not Harvey Kurtzman, but Art Crumb was really a big influence. His style, his pen and ink style, and his kind of druggy sense of humor influenced me a lot. But again, I never hung out with those guys. I hung out with mostly gag cartoonists, people from New Yorker.
Yeah.
Pete Seavey, Roz Chast, people like that. Those are the ones I basically hung out with.
What before we really start talking about the animation part, I'm just curious what your thoughts are on gag cartoons and what's happened to sort of that genre, if you
Right.
will, because I know like the New Yorker is starting to put some of their one panels up, but they're putting voiceovers to it, and
I
they're
didn't know that.
yeah, they're trying to do something different. But it seems like with the decline of newspapers,
Yeah.
there's been a decline in cartooning, or has it merged on or migrated online?
No, it has not. I was syndicated through Universal Press Syndicate, and I was in about 20 papers at my peak. And for some reason, my strip didn't connect. It didn't really get big sales. But I was still doing my caricatures, which were really popular, and illustrations. And I did hang out with a bunch of cartoonists. You may not know them, but we had a band, a rock and roll band. Lou Brooks was in it, and Mark Allen Stamety, who used to work for the Village Voice, used to have that great strip for them. And we had a band and we played music, but I never really felt at home with them. They were on a different style. I really wanted animation, and so that's why I finally gravitated to animation.
And what was your first experience of doing animation? Was it personal or professional?
I will tell you, I went to that class at SVA in 1970, and I just started making my own films by myself without the teacher. I found a student who actually helped me a little bit, and they were little experiments in animation. They were pretty bad. They weren't that good because I just didn't know how to do the technical side. So, but in 1985, I was doing some anti-nuclear brochures for Valeria Vasilevsky, and they were really beautiful. They were really big success. And she approached me. She said, I hear you want to do animation. I'm talking to Jules Pfeiffer, and he wants to make a short film of a song he wrote called Boomtown. Said, yeah, that's great. That sounds like just perfect for me. So I met with Jules. We went over. I did the storyboards, and then I said, "So when do I get my money?" And they said, "Oh no, we don't have any money for you. It's a freebie." And I said, "That's okay. I don't mind because if I was going to Cal Arts, say, it's about 60,000 a year, and there's no way I could afford it. So I was getting basically a free education in animation. The Connie D'Antonio was an animator in New York at that time, and she volunteered to walk me through the whole process of doing the storyboard, doing the animatic, doing the layouts, doing the backgrounds, doing all the stuff. Finding a big camera, finding a lab to do the film processing. It's just a whole big rigmarole. So Connie was really helpful in doing that.
During that period, were there a lot of animation camera services in New York City, or a couple of them?
There were, 3 or 4, as I recall. John Donnelly was the guy that shot most of my films, and he was really good guy. I had some bad cameramen. One of them I had shot his neighbor, and so that kind of ended that.
You mean like shot his neighbor with a gun?
Was a guy he killed him? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He was a nice guy, but he was a little screwy. So I moved on from him.
Now, were they using Oxbury down animation cranes? Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, those big monolithic things that I don't know how to. I didn't want to know how to use them. They're very technical, and it was just too complicated for me. Anyway, so we made this film Boomtown, and it was really popular. It was partnered up with a feature film from England called Plowman's Lunch, and this had to be in 1980. 85, I think, 86, something like that. And it did well. It sold all over America. It was shown in cinemas all over, mostly the art cinemas, of course. And I said, this is great now. I know how to make a film. I know where to get my film processed and how to do the soundtrack. And, I borrowed a Nagra and I did my own sound effects. And I said, I'm going to make my own film. And I didn't know what to make it of. So at that point, I was doodling someone's crazy head. And I was deforming the head and making it totally surreal. And I said, yeah, why don't I just do a guy singing a song and his head transforms? Lots of transformations. I said, that's easy. I don't need to hire an actor. There's no lip sync problems because the mouth is going around and you don't really see the sync.
Yeah.
And I did it in about a month, I think. It went really fast. It was easy to draw. I think I did around 27, maybe 30 gag ideas of strange heads. And I showed it to my friends on video cassette, and the ones they didn't respond to, I got rid of. So I think eventually there's maybe 23 or 22 gags, visual gags
Yeah.
in the film. And I remember this was a big point in my life, the first screening of it. And that was at a SIFA. And this was in 87.
Is this a SIFA East or a SIFA
Yeah,
West?
SIFA East.
SIFA East, which is based in New York.
Yeah,
and just so our listeners know, a SIFA is an animation organization.
Right.
That started, I believe, in Europe,
in France,
and came to the U.S. And so there's a SIFA East, which is based out of New York, and then there's a SIFA West, which does the Annie Awards, and that's all based in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's a great organization. So anyway, they were having a competitive screening, and I wanted to show this film called Your Face. That was the name of the film. And I didn't know anybody in a SIFA. I don't even know how I got. Oh, it was who was it? The guy that did Bambi Meets Godzilla. Marv Newland. Yeah, Marv Newland. Thank you. Marv Newland, I met him somewhere, I forget where, and he said, oh, you got to enter Annecy. You got to enter your film in Annecy. And I didn't know anything about Annecy or anything about film festivals. And he said, you got to enter it in the SIFA. So I entered in the SIFA, and I went there that night, and I was way in the back by the door, the entrance, so I could sneak out when people started booing and I wouldn't have to hear all that. And so I was hiding and like this, showing my film, and immediately people started to laugh, and it was a whole room of laughter. And I have to tell you that having done 15, 20 years of print, gag cartoons and funny drawings, I'd never heard people laugh at my artwork. And so to hear this big room of professional animators laughing at my film was blowing my mind. I felt like I was levitating. It was such a magical moment that people actually liked my drawings. And right after the screening was done, they all came over to my table and said, "Are you Bill Plympton? Did you make that film?" And I said, "Yeah, that was me." And they said, "Well, let's go out and have a drink and we talk animation." And finally, I was connected to the animation community that I never was able to get into before.
Before we go too deep into animation, I just want to step back for a second because you did a lot of gag cartoons, just like one panel cartoons for the Village Voice and Vogue and Rolling Stone, Vanity Fair, Penthouse, National Lampoon. I mean, the list goes on. And you did a lot of political stuff. Did you ever get any blowback from people or threats of lawsuits or anything?
No, never anything like that. I mean, I was with the Soho News, which wasn't a huge circulation. So most people liked it. I'd get a few people who didn't like my gags. They didn't like the humor, but that was okay. It was a way to get by. I made very little money on that comic strip. It was I think $10 a week, and sometimes I wouldn't even get paid. So it wasn't a career I was going to stay in. So it was just something for me to keep.
Who were the people that did make money in doing that? Was it people who were in the New Yorker or?
Well, Gary Trudeau, as you know.
Oh yeah,
was huge. He made a lot of money. Pat Oliphant, who'd also they were syndicated by the same company. I was Universal Press Syndicate, and they did Gary Trudeau and Pat Oliphant,
and it really was all about being in a lot of publications, right?
For sure,
like
yeah.
you had to be in like hundreds of publications to make a decent living.
Yeah, I had the same agent as Gary Trudeau, and I would visit him, and he would print out all of the newspapers that handled him, and it's just this piece of paper that never ended. It was like he had thousands of newspapers carrying his stuff. So he was a god. He was a comic strip god. He's still doing pretty well. His stuff is still out there, but like you say, with the internet, the newspapers are not doing very well.
Yeah, I mean, he does his Doonesbury, but I know that is like just like a Sunday type of thing. Not
really.
Well, I've only seen it in the Sunday edition of the LA Times.
Yeah.
I don't see it in the daily edition.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I haven't seen it for a while, but it used to be in all the dailies.
Yeah.
He was very, very busy. Very funny.
Yeah, and but again, it's just it's an area that seems to be dying on the vine.
Yeah, it's too bad. I have a lot of illustrator friends who it's the same thing. AI coming out and doing all this stuff. It's hard to get work. So
I'm gonna put a pin in that because I was going to talk to you about AI, but later in our interview in a couple of episodes, really. But
Sure.
let's go ahead and pick up on the animation and the fact that you had an audience full of people reacting the way you wanted them to react to your first animation.
Yeah. So what happened was I started entering in festivals, Annecy, which is this wonderful French festival. Have you heard of Annecy?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I think I won something there. Oh, I won a whole bunch of prizes at the ASIFA competition. That was a weird night. If I'm boring you, just tell me to stop.
No, this is what I want to hear the stories. I mean, why was it a boring night or a weird night for you?
So I went to it and I didn't know if I'd get anything, but it's just a chance to get together with other animators. So I definitely went. And the first prize that I won was best animation, best drawing. And I went up there and, oh God, thank you so much. And I turned around to come back and the guy said, nope, come on back. The best music, Bill Plympton. Oh, thank you. I go back. And they said, no, come back. I won 5 awards that night.
Wow.
Unprecedented, I think. And it wasn't just for Your Face. It was for this other film I did called Drawing Lesson Number 2, which is kind of a gag short film. But it was just embarrassing to keep coming up there and getting another prize. I just didn't see it coming.
So Your Face, which is this ever-changing face that you did, you also entered that in the Academy Awards as well.
I did not.
I thought it was an Academy.
It was.
Okay.
I did not know who entered it.
Oh, so really? Okay.
That one is best up. It could have been Spike and Mike. It could have been the Tournée of Animation. It could have been some Canadian film board or something. The only thing I know is I woke up one morning to a phone call, woke me up, said, did you know you got nominated for an Oscar today?
How did that feel?
Well, I of course I loved it, but I had no idea who entered the film, how I got in there.
And to this day, you have no idea.
No. I think it was Terry Thorne who handled a lot of my films with the tournée of animation, or Spike and Mike, but no one has told me that. I should ask them because that would be good to know. But I must tell you, I really went unprepared to the Oscars. I soon realized afterwards that what you're supposed to do if you get nominated for an Oscar is bring other projects you want to sell and do the tour of the studios and do pitches. I didn't know that you had to do pitches. I mean, you don't have to, but that's the opportunity. Everybody wants to work with you. Everybody, even if you don't win the Oscar, if you got nominated, people want to work with you, and they'll producers will make a deal for working on a project. But I just wanted to keep making my little short films. That's all I wanted really is to do that.
And what was your next project after Your Faces? Because obviously that was going, you were showing that in festivals over the course of a year, probably, right?
Can I go back to the Oscar thing?
Oh yeah, go back. Absolutely.
Yeah. But remember your question because I'll forget it. So I took Maureen McKelleran, who is my voice person. She did the song. She wrote the song for Your Face. And we had played in clubs in the village here and bands, country western bands. And so we were really close. She did a lot of music for almost all my films. So I thought she deserved to go, absolutely. So I didn't have the money to rent a limousine or anything like that. So I rented a car, as a little Datsun or something like that, a tiny little car. And what you have to do is you have to drive your car into the parking guys and get out, and then you walk up the red carpet.
Yeah, the valet take your car and go park it. Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't let me in because my car was a piece of junk. You only get in if you had a black limo. That's the only way you get in there. And I said, well, look, here's my invitation. I'm Bill Plympton. I got nominated. And they didn't want to hear it. And they almost kicked us out. But somebody, I think, helped me convince them that I really deserved to park the car.
Well, I've been to the Academy Awards a couple of times, and I can't remember anybody driving themselves. It was just like, I mean,
you're right.
Every single limousine in Los Angeles was stacked up.
That's it. That's what they do. But it was amazing. I met some really incredibly famous people, and they were really nice and friendly, because once you're there, they figure, well, you must be a great filmmaker if you're there. So everybody was very nice to us. It was wonderful.
And what else do you remember from that evening?
Well, another thing I remember, and this was during the day, is they have these gifting suites. And they rent a big hotel. I forget which one it was. It was one of the big LA hotels. And 3 or 4 floors of the hotel are bought by people who want to promote their product. And so you go in there and you pick what you want, like a binoculars or a camera or whatever you want, and they say, okay, take it, it's yours. Because you may mention it at the Oscars, you may talk about it at the Oscars. So we went there, and we went to this jewelry place. This wasn't Marie. This was the second time, but that's okay. It's still a good story. I was there with Biljana, who was my producer. And they had jewelry, a $40,000 diamond necklace. They gave it to her to wear for the Academy. She had to return it, of course, but still, it was just boggled my mind that they were forcing all these products on you, fancy jackets and skis and all sorts of crazy stuff. Because you're nominated for an Oscar, you had to show them that little certificate, say I'm nominated.
And that was it.
That was it. Yeah.
And you got a gift bag too, didn't you?
Oh yeah, really a gift bag. But they changed the rules now because you have to pay taxes on the gift bags. And
because the gift bags became so outrageously expensive, right?
Absolutely. But I'm sure they're still around. You can still get stuff like that because you're an Oscar nominee.
Yeah. So you're at the Academy Awards,
Yeah.
and the best animated short category comes up. You see an image of your film along with the other nominees, and what were you feeling?
Well, I was against two Canadian films, actually. The Man Who Planted Trees.
Oh, yeah. Frederick Bach.
Yeah, Frederick Bach. And then, another Canadian comedy film.
But it was The Man Who Planted Trees that won, right?
It won, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And when he won, I was actually happy for him because he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a prayer because his film was just, epic. It was epic animated film. And I stood up to shake his hand, when he got up on the way, and people thought that I was trying to trip him.
Really?
I stood up in front of him like that to shake his hand.
They at the Academy Awards, they kind of seed all the nominees in the general vicinity of one another, right?
Yeah, it was a row. We were in a row, and I was right by the aisle, so I got up, and he was coming through.
Yeah. And what did you do after the Oscars? I mean, you're nominated, you don't win. What did you do? Did you go to the governor's ball, or?
Yeah, they had the governor's ball, and that's where we met Jack Nicholson. He was very friendly, and a bunch of the big stars. I can't think of their names right now, but yeah, it sort of boggles the mind that all the great actors are there. And I pitched one of them to be a voice in my next film, and they said yes. And I can't think of his name now, but he's really a great.
Were you able to get him or not?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, he was very nice. Wait, gosh, no. Oh, and do you remember who did the voice for Man Who Planted Trees?
Oh, he was in the Holdovers.
Yeah. The Man Who Planted Trees and the Holdovers. It just came out a few months ago. Anyway, he was. I need to know his name now.
Paul Giamatti. Right?
Yeah, Paul Giamatti.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's great.
And the story behind him was, and I didn't know this. I just liked his voice and thought he was great. I asked him if he wanted to be and do a voice in one of my films, and he said, "Yeah." And what I learned was that in college he wanted to be an animator. That was his goal in life, was to be an animator. And yeah, he's from Seattle, and I think he had a little studio in Seattle. And so he said, yeah, he wanted to do it. And what happened was, he was in Seattle. They were shooting this film, and they asked if he wanted to do a little cameo in the film, and he said, yeah. And everybody loved his cameo. And he moved to Hollywood and became. Actually, he moved to New York, and became a great actor.
Yeah.
And he's still very nice to me. He's still very friendly. And the film was Fan of the Flower, which is really one of my favorite films. It's really cool film.
Before we move on to your next animation project after your faces, I think this is a good place for us to kind of stop and pick it up next week in episode 2. So with that, I'm going to say, Bill, thank you for being on the Skull Rock podcast, and I look forward to having you back next week.
Okay, very good. I enjoy it.
Let's get out of here!
Come on, Scotty, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here, Lieutenant.
All right, Dave, wrapping it up. And Dave, do we have any more? Do we have any more with Bill?
Oh yeah, we've got multiple parts with Bill. There's a lot to talk about. He's really a terrific individual. I just enjoy chatting with him. And it's just fascinating. I think he's very inspirational, especially to those that are up and coming and are thinking they want to just, be an independent animator. There is a way to make a living doing this.
Wonderful stuff.
And you just have to figure it out. And Bill gives you some of the breadcrumbs on his path to success.
I absolutely love it. It's great to sit back and listen to these interviews of these legendary greats, and we're so pleased that he's here doing a segment interview with us.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Gang, thank you so much once again for tuning in and subscribing to the show. Be sure you do that. All of our socials are there. And once again, find all of the video podcasts there on our socials, and also Spotify. Videos on Spotify. We also have it on YouTube. Please check that out. Like and share, subscribe to the show, tell all your friends about us, and leave us those comments. They certainly help the algorithm. Every time you like something, every time you comment, it certainly helps boost our profile, especially on YouTube. We do appreciate that. Gang, if you really want to follow me, I appreciate it. Feel free to follow me on X. I'm there. We're also there on Instagram. The links are in the show notes. Also, check out my other podcast, Dining at Disney. We have shows released every single week in the Dining at Disney channel. Check it out on YouTube or anywhere you find podcasts. Dave?
Well, Aljon, before I go into my spiel at the end here, I did want to mention something that happened on Friday. I got this poster. It's a 6-color silkscreen poster of the House of the Future, and I posted it on my Facebook page. But what's really interesting about this was that, like 4 years or so ago, I was in the middle of doing my House of the Future book, and I happened to spot this poster. It's sort of like a retro attractions poster that somebody had done online of the House of the Future. And I was really struck by it. And I thought, wow, that would be an awesome cover image for my book. And I reached out to the artist and said, hey, I really like this a lot. I'm writing a book about the House of the Future. You think I can license this art to use on the cover? And he was like, yeah, that'd be great. Like I've never done something like that before. There you go. There's me with the poster that I got in the mail. So anyway, I paid him a little bit of money to license the image. Of course, he maintains the copyright of it, because I'm very respectful of, an artist doing a piece of art and maintaining their copyright. And I, went ahead and used it for the book. Well, you fast forward, and before we fast forward, it turns out after the fact, Aljon, that the person I was dealing with, I thought he was a professional graphic designer or, artist. He was a senior in high school.
What?
In Pennsylvania.
It's amazing.
Seriously, right?
It's amazing.
I was blown away by that. So I had encouraged him. I said, man, you are so great. You should pursue a career in art. I'm telling you, you're going to be able to do well, blah, blah, blah. Now you fast forward to today, the guy's got his own design company, and he's got some sort of a deal with Acme Archives.
Oh,
and they're producing his posters in a limited series. I mean, the poster I'm holding up is one of 50 limited edition signed by him, and I'm just like it was a real sort of full circle moment for me because, over my career, I had always given advice to up and coming artists and, people who wanted to get into animation. And I was always generous with my time and let people ask questions and gave them, my opinions and advice for what it was worth. But to see it come, full circle like that, and somebody actually listened to what you had to say and went off and did it. And they're building a successful career. I mean, it was really something else, and I love the poster. So I just wanted to convey that to our listeners. And now I'll get into my final words here. Okay.
No, what a great story, Dave. I'll say, why did you bury the lead on this, Dave?
I know I should have done this at the beginning. You know,
You should have done it.
What can I
It's
tell
very
you?
good. Oh no,
You
hey,
know?
that's why you tune in to the very end.
There you
man.
go. But
Bonus features.
listen, you can hear me monthly on the Tunes Behind the Tunes on Sirius XM Disney Hits Channel 133 during the month of May. I know we're starting June, but during the month of May, we did The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Next week, I'll let you know what we're doing for the month of June, because I never know until the beginning of the month, and they're going to send me something, on Monday to listen to and approve. I recorded these months ago at the Sirius XM studios in Los Angeles. Anyway, you can also go to the oldmillpress.com. You can get signed copies of many of my books. You can also get the newly released The Art of John Canemaker, An Animator's Garden by John Canemaker. And, of course, A Spoonful of Sugar, the story of the Upjohn Pharmacy at Disneyland by Stephen Hall. Those are all available as author-signed copies. And, by the way, I'm just going to give a little plug here. I have a new book coming out at the end of the year. Walt Disney, World War II, animation on the front lines. I got to tell you, Aljon, the people I've sent this out to for review and to give me jacket quotes and stuff are blown away. I'm getting incredible jacket quotes from people. I have worked on this book for so long. I've been doing research for decades on this material, and I'm finally synthesizing it all into this new book. So that'll be coming out in the fall. More to come on that. Okay.
Love it.
And then
Love it,
finally, you
Dave.
can always go to davidbossert.com. There's all kinds of free articles for you to read if you're interested in animation and animation history. There's also free stuff to send away. So if you live in Kalamazoo or someplace remote that I don't visit, sorry to say, you can always go to davidbossert.com, go to the free tab, and click on the free free stuff tab, and click on that, and you can get some signed book plates. You can get bookmarks and all of that stuff. So that's it. Okay, there's my shameless plugs. With that, folks, please go out and have a fantastic week. Enjoy yourselves. It's, as far as I'm concerned, summer's here, because Memorial Day is the traditional start of summer, even though it's technically spring. To me, the summer has begun. Go out, have a fantastic week. Be kind to one another. We'll see you back here next Monday, right here on the Skull Rock Podcast.